My fellow Ugandans, happy Independence Day, because today is Independence Day. I come to you today as we are all aware that I happen to have taken Diamond Trust Bank to court, that is DTB Kenya and DTB Uganda, having found out that they had unlawfully taken 120 billion shillings off my account in over a period of 10 years with mere impunity. I took DTB to court just like any civilized person would do, and you are all aware the court came out this week and actually pronounced itself on a judgment in which DTB was found guilty of carrying out illegalities in Uganda first and foremost, and equally ordered to pay back 120 billion shillings that they had taken off my account with an interest of 8%, which comes to around 9.6 billion. But like I told you before, remember I was calling for banking reforms. Why? I give you some little bit of points as into why we need banking reforms. First and foremost, our banking sector and structure per se is dominated by foreign banks, which wouldn't be bad, but these people are very discriminative, starting with top management. All top managers are foreigners. Number two, they are so discriminative when it comes to giving out money. They give foreigners more money than we Ugandans. We are underfinanced in most cases. That's why most Ugandans even fail to complete projects so that they can become productive and they repay back their loans. They give better interest rates or lower interest rates to foreigners as compared to Ugandans. Number three, these banks are very undercapitalized. They come with limited capital. They come in the disguise of investors, yet they use our money, which is deposits and savings, to create their capital base for loans. It is the money we give as savings and deposits that they use to give us loans. And yet at the end of the day, they do what we call profit repatriation. They take all the money out of the economy. But why was I calling for banking reforms? This is one of the reasons. When judgment was passed in a period of approximately 12 to 24 hours, all banks had formed a cocoon to fight back. Why? Yet the judgment was against an illegality. That means it is concrete proof that these banks have been exploiting us in the disguise of coming to Uganda as investors to help us develop. They are not developmental per se, they are simply merely exploitative. Just because this judgment is in line with granting Uganda economic independence, that's why they are against it. And it is totally unfair. Without economic independence as a country, I doubt if we can move forward. Let it be at an individual level or national level. We are all graded in accordance with our incomes and budgets. Uganda today has a budget of 11 billion, which is approximately 40 trillion. Even if we say that this year, let us not build schools or hospitals, let us share the money amongst Ugandans. We are 46 million people. Every Ugandan would take home $870,000, 870,000 shillings. For how long can you survive on it? That means the problem is not us. You are poor not because you are not working. You are poor not because you are not putting in an effort. You are poor because these people are taking all our money out. They've been exploiting us for so long, but this judgment is a test of our patriotism. We have to stand together as a country and as Ugandans to fight against this impunity that has been taking place for such a long period of time. They said they gave us independence, but I doubt that was partial because we currently don't hold economic independence. It is very unfair that these banks have ganged up to fight courts of law. In a press release which was brought out by Uganda Bankers Association, They reached an extent of calling a judge's judgment reckless. How can you say this is impunity of the highest order? It is contempt of court. I would expect Uganda Law Society to come out strong against these people and press charges at individual levels to all these people personally liable for undermining independence of our judiciary. They ran to government, trying to threaten the government. They went to Minister of Finance, telling them, please pronounce yourself on this judgment and say the government does not stand with it. I'm so happy with government that Minister of Finance came out and clearly told them, no, you are coming to us because with a claim that since government has got external funding, it means these funds would also be affected by the rule. Government said no. Government funding is not affected by that because government is obliged under the Constitution to pay its obligation. So regardless of the judgment, and there is an element of separation of powers. There is the judiciary, executive, and legislature. So by asking the executive to undermine decisions of the judiciary, that is compromising the three arms of government. But government stood strong and told them, look here, this is our position. Then they ran to Bank of Uganda. Bank of Uganda told them, it gave notice that we are still studying the ruling and we shall take a decision that is appropriate after understanding the ruling. So, you see, these people are acting with a lot of impunity and they are saying, no, we should continue exploiting you. You belong to us. They look at us from an inferiority point of view, which is wrong because majority of us have the capacity to reason. And trust me, this judgment is no longer about Hamis Enterprises. In fact, my interest is not the 120 billion that court asked DTB to give me back. No. Now my interest is in independence of the judiciary. I call upon all my fellow Ugandans that this isn't an individual battle for Hamis Enterprises as a company. This is a battle for all of us Ugandans. We should stand together and stand strong against this kind of impunity. Then they go in newspapers. I was reading today's newspapers and they're saying banks protest Hamis Kiggundu's case ruling. How can you protest a ruling? You appeal a ruling, you don't protest it. Respect our courts of law. If you are dissatisfied with the ruling, you run to the court of appeal. You don't go to newspapers and you know they put a figure, we are likely to lose 5.7 trillion. Are you putting a price to our independence that we should choose between losing 5.7 billion and our economic freedoms and independence? This is impunity of the highest order. I call upon all Ugandans to stand together and we fight against this impunity. Without economic independence, we can never move forward as a nation.